nearly 30 and I have adult acne. Oh my god. This does not help you with your skin, so this is not a recommendation. Hello, beautiful people, and welcome back to another episode of The Hormone Ride, episode number 2. I know, I haven't been here in a really long time. First off, if you didn't see my last one, my episode number 1, you can go and watch that. I'll leave it up here in the cards or in the description box below. So I'll just give you a little bit of a rundown of what my skin was like before I went on the pill and what it was like when I was on it, just to kind of give you a rough idea of my skin history. So before I went on the pill, which was when I was 18, going through those hormonal changes of being a teenager, I never really dealt with any skin problems. Maybe 1 or 2 pimples at that time of the month. I honestly can't even remember dealing with any kind of pimples, so I must have not had much at all. Being on the pill, again, my skin was amazing, especially being on Yasmin, because that is one of the best pills to go on for your skin. The only time that I ever really dealt with skin problems before now was when I went off the pill about 6 or 7 years ago, probably longer, for 3 months, which I spoke about in my episode number 1 of the Hormone Ride. And my skin broke out pretty bad, not as bad as it has this time around, but I got a lot around my cheeks. My skin was actually very oily. Like, I would sit there and I could feel like the oil moving on my face. It was disgusting. It hasn't been like that this time. My skin has been pretty sort of dry or normal. And then obviously when I went back on the pill, after those 3 months, my skin cleared up. I was using Proactive around that time as well, which did help my skin a lot, although it made my skin very, very sensitive. That was the only thing that I didn't like about Proactive, and that's the only reason why I haven't really used it again. Plus, I'm all about natural products now, and I don't know, I'm just not into the whole Proactive thing. But again, it's a great product. If you want to use it, you can use it, it's up to you. Before I went off the pill, probably 4 or 5 years before I went off it, I started to notice that I had tiny little pimples just underneath the skin, like 1 or 2. They would never come to the surface, ever. They were just underneath the skin. And you wouldn't really notice it unless I looked in the light. It kind of looked like just like little moles that didn't have any coloring on them. So obviously there was some issues going on in my body, but the pill was masking all those issues. And when I was on the pill, I would only get 1 or 2 pimples, normally here or here on my face when I had my period. So that's really the only time that my skin really broke out until now. Going off the pill about 9 months ago. It has been a slow process of my skin breaking out, but it definitely broke out big time. I mean, full on freaking acne all over my face. And at the moment, my skin is so much better. I have a lot of scarring. I'll show you a close-up in a minute. But oh my god, I am so happy because my skin was so bad a few months ago. So let's go through the stages. I went off the pill in December of last year. My skin didn't really start to break out until probably the 2nd month of being off the pill. First of all, it started in my hair. I had pimples in my hair. Do you know how weird that is? Has anyone dealt with pimples in their hair? Because I have never, ever dealt with that situation. They were tiny, tiny little pimples that you could hardly even see, but they felt massive and they hurt so bad on my scalp because your scalp is so sort of tight, so anything going on there, it hurt so bad. and I just couldn't get to them, and it hurt to brush my hair. There was a lot going on. And then it went to my back. I had back acne. I'm laughing because it was so, like, I've never experienced any of this, so it was like, what is going on with my body? It only lasted, the back acne only lasted probably a couple of weeks. I scrubbed with coffee scrub, and it slowly went away and didn't come back, thank God. Then I kind of started getting a few pimples along my chest. Again, that didn't last very long. I kind of scrubbed and everything, and then it went away. And then I started getting pimples in this area. Like right in the corner here of my forehead. Like just tiny little whitehead pimples. I could start seeing them kind of in my hairline, so they were already on like my scalp, and then they moved around the hairline. Also at the time of my scalp breaking out, I had hair falling out as well. However, I was kind of going through a transitional stage of fixing my hair, because I used to have purple hair and then blue hair, and then I went to blonde hair. So I had lost a lot of hair from being platinum blonde right through to blue. And so it was kind of a combination of losing my hair because of the hormones and what was going on in my body, and the damage that had happened to my hair from bleaching it and doing all these things. That was kind of concerning, because there was a stage there where I was like, and I think this was mostly from hormones and what was going on in my body, but I was like, would go like this, and strands of hair would just fall off. It was just, it kept coming and coming and coming, like chunks of hair. So my hair really thinned out. It's starting to grow back, and it's starting to get healthy and thick again, but it's taken a really long time. Then once I had them in like these kind of corners, like a triangle here, it then started to go on my cheeks. So I would have like 1 or 2 here, just little tiny ones popping up to say hello. Thank you, I don't want you. And that was kind of in the, maybe let's say the 4th month of going off the pill. I'm probably not being exact, but around that time. I felt like it was like an overnight thing. My skin went from a few pimples here and 1 or 2 here to all over my freaking face. I felt like it literally came overnight, just everywhere. It started on my forehead, had a lot of little pimples underneath the skin, and then it started to move around on my like cheek area here. At one stage, you will see after this video vlogs from when I'm in Perth in May, and that was probably the worst my skin ever got. It was just everywhere, and I felt so insecure and hated my skin. I hated putting on makeup. Putting on makeup when you have acne is the worst, because I felt like, coming from someone who I literally hardly ever wore foundation, ever. I might have worn like a BB cream or something like that, but hardly ever wore foundation, just concealer, and did everything else. To come from that to having to wear foundation all the time, not when I was at home, but if I was with family or, you know, going down the street or something, I felt like I had to put it on because I just felt really insecure about it. For the most part, I actually tried to just wear tinted moisturizer and concealer just to try and not clog up my pores too much. And then it got to the stage where I was like, I can't stand this. So I bought a good foundation to try and cover it up. But still, I felt like no matter how much I covered up, you could still see that there was like mountains all over my face. So like, what was the point of covering it up? It was a really kind of stressful time. However, I was going through a lot at the time as well. When my skin first started to break out, I was going through a breakup. So I was heavily stressed, emotional, my hormones were all over the place, my skin was breaking out. I literally got a double whammy. Like, there was a lot happening in my life. So I think that contributed to it a lot. Stress is a huge thing that can make you break out, and it just wasn't helping the situation because I was going through that and then had to deal with feeling insecure about my skin. In my last video, I explained that I had some pain on my left hand side of my uterus, and I was going to get an ultrasound to see what that was. I'm probably going to talk about this maybe in another video because it's like another topic. But I found out that I have PCOS, which can cause a lot of my skin problems. Now, if you don't know what PCOS is, you can go and look it up because I'm not very good at explaining it in technical terms. But it's basically just a hormone imbalance. I had full-blown PCOS after going off the pill, and that is why I had a lot of hair loss. I had a lot of breakouts. I gained a little bit of weight after going off the pill, which is now sort of subsided, and I'm kind of back to where I normally am. And I also dealt with a bit of hair growth on my face, which has now gone away. They're all the symptoms of PCOS. So I will talk about the PCOS, and I also found out that I have, which I cannot pronounce, but I'll put it on the screen here. That is on my left-hand side. However, they said that it shouldn't be causing any of my pain, which the pain has subsided now. I kind of get it in ovulation, or if I'm stressed, I feel it. It's basically just ovulation pain. There was nothing to worry about. This is a whole other topic that I do want to touch on in another video because, yeah, I just want this video to be about my skin and my hair. But I thought I would mention that I found out about the PCOS just because it does affect my body, and it is the reason why a lot of my skin has broken out and why I've had all these problems. I'm going to show you some videos now and some photos of the progression of my skin. So this is what my skin looks like. So I have quite a few here. This motherfucker. But a lot of these here, they're not actually, like this one, and this one are raised. These here are not really raised. They're just red spots. Got these tiny little ones around my mouth, and then these here again, there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then just like spots, like not even like raised spots, but just spots. The worst part is my forehead. I have them all in here, like little tiny annoying ones, and here, and then in my hairline, it's so, I don't know if you can see that, and I can't see myself like showing you, so I don't know, but yeah, I don't know if you can see that. They're all in my hairline. The hairline is the worst. My hair's getting a lot oilier than normal. Love having my pimples on the internet. It was pretty bad. That's all I have to say about that. So I will show you a close-up what my skin looks like now. Let me come all close to the camera. So basically all of this here is scarring. Yes, there are a few kind of tiny ones like underneath the skin, but a lot of this is scarring, and it is coming up a lot redder on camera than it is in real life, but it gives you an indication of what it looks like. So if I move that way, you can see that my skin is really flush. Sorry, it's not focusing. Really flush. This is a very close up. Yeah, all of this is scarring, which is great. We love a bit of scarring on the face. And then this is the other side of my face. This is a new little pimple there. Thank you very much. It's all pretty much scarring except for that. There's a little pimple there, tiny. And I want to get this freaking thing removed. I've had this is like another topic, but I've had this for a while. It's like a skin, a sun, what do you call it? Sunspot, whatever, that I really want to get removed because it's slowly growing and I don't want it to one day take over my whole face. So, you know, I want to get that removed. And I have this weird thing right now, which if it doesn't go away soon, I'm going to have to go to a dermatologist and get it looked at. But it's this like really like red bit of rough skin. For a while there, it was really dry no matter what I did. Scrubbed it, whatever. It was just dry skin constantly. Now it's not like dry skin, but it's just this like patch of like rougher skin that's red. Sometimes it's almost like eczema looking. And then this is what my forehead looks like. Again, this is all scarring. All little dots of red. Confetti of redness that is left over from my pimples. I am filming this on the 9th of September. So I guess from here on out we can document more on how my skin heals, what it looks like, what I'm doing to get rid of the scarring. But my skin has been the best it has been in literally 7 months. I've noticed that at that time of the month, my skin does get a little worse. I may break out. A lot of my cheeks, like kind of 1 or 2 here. My skin is the best when I'm going through ovulation, I have noticed. It's kind of changing throughout the month, but as I said, my skin has been the best it has been. Now, I'm gonna make a separate video for my skincare routine and my hair care routine and all the things that I use to help my skin and my body and how I have healed my hormones, or currently what I'm doing to get my hormones back on track, because let's face it, this is like an ongoing self-care, if you want to call it. Before I go, I just want to say a couple of things. Anyone that is going through skin problems or any sort of insecurity, first of all, I get you 100%. I know that our experiences might be very different, but I understand you. And I want you to know that you're not alone. As I said, this is the first time that I've ever had to deal with any kind of skin problems, and probably the first time that I have had any sort of visible insecurity, if that makes sense. I have dealt with many insecurities. I mean, who hasn't? But I really felt like having acne was the first time that I had an insecurity that I felt like everybody could see. Even if they weren't seeing it, didn't care about it, weren't really looking at my face, I felt like they were constantly looking at my face, which sounds superficial, but it's not. It's not like, oh my God, everyone's looking at me. It was just that I hated how it looked, that I felt so shit about that. And I felt like everyone was seeing my insecurity. And I'm still like, you know, dealing with it. I'm still getting rid of it, but I do feel a lot more confident in my own skin again and more like me. For so long there, I didn't feel like myself over the last few months. And I have really learned a lot through this process of having bad skin and going off the pill and, you know, feeling so many different things that I haven't felt in a long time, which again, I will talk about in another video because that's a whole nother topic of emotionally how I'm going with being off the pill. But what I can say right now is that for the first time in a long time, I really feel like myself. I feel like, yes, I was me on the pill, but the pill masks a lot of things. A lot of feelings, a lot of who you really are, a lot of, you know, what's going on in your body. It masks that. I guess the biggest lesson that I have learned, and I will talk about this more, I've had to learn how to just let go and let my body do its thing. Just honestly sit in where I'm at right now in my life and be okay with that. Like, there were so many days where I had to remind myself, your skin is breaking out for a reason. Your body is trying to tell you what is going on. Listen to that. My body was on the pill for 11 years. My skin and my body is not going to just go back to normal like that. It's like got years worth of stuff it has to heal from. Emotionally, physically, mentally. That has been my biggest lesson, is to let go, be patient, and be kind to myself and my body, and just let my skin and my body heal in its own time. That's where I'm at right now, and that is the lesson that I have really learnt. So what I want to say to you is, first of all, if you're going through skin problems like me, really truly look within and try and figure out what your body is trying to tell you. Heal your body and feed it with love and kindness. Also, this is like another topic in itself. There are so many topics in this video that I could ramble on about. I will share my opinions on this in another video, but there are so many people out there, because I've watched videos and I've talked to people that freak out when they go off the pill, for example, and their skin starts to break out, and, you know, or there's certain things happening in their body, and they go, I can't be bothered with this anymore, I just want to go back on the pill. And they go back on the pill. Now, of course, that is your decision if you choose to do that, but please, please, please consider other options first. As I said, your body is showing you these things for a reason. Taking the pill is just going to cover all that up again, and you're never going to get to the bottom of why your body was doing what it was doing in the first place. And then years down the track, when you decide to go off the pill again, you're going to have those problems. They're still going to be there. So try and work out what your body is telling you first before you make that decision. And of course, it's your decision. You've got to do what's right for you. But I will tell you, there were so many times where I was like, F this, I'm going back on the pill. I can't stand the skin problem anymore, especially because I am in an industry where I do acting and singing, oh, got a hair, and all these things that are in front of a camera. I was like, I can't work. I can't go in front of a camera looking like this. There is no way. I just want to go back on the pill. I have thought that so many times, but I stuck with it because I was like, no, I don't want to be on the pill anymore. This is my choice. And yes, people who have PCOS, they say, go on the pill. That'll fix it right up. That is another topic, which I'll talk about. That is not the answer, in my opinion. That is just the way I see things. It is not the answer. I stuck with it, and I'm so, so glad that I did. If you are off the pill and you're having similar situations to me, or maybe you're having other situations since going off the pill, try and stick with it as much as you can if that's what you really want to do. You will get to the other end. There is a time when your body is going to heal and get back on track the way it should be. So just stick with it. I will stick with it with you. And we can talk about it in the comment section below if you want to share your stories and your thoughts. I would love to hear them. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. Stay beautiful. I love you all, and I will see you in my next one. Be your own kind of beautiful. Bye.